in the media conference with Lal Goyal, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se Samvad Sarokar News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today, as you all know, the menace of Corona, COVID has come back in a very, very big way. So the topic is very, very important and relevant. And the topic is role of youth in controlling COVID. यारों, बड़ी ताकत है भारत की जवानी में, नौजवान चाहें तो सुनो, लगा दे आंख पानी में, युवा जन ठान लें यदि तो कोरोना बढ़ नहीं सकता, इस देश के सिर पर कभी वो राक्षस चढ़ नहीं सकता. This short poem in Hindi was written by Mr. Paramatmanand Pandey Matwala, President Utho Jago Foundation. He is a journalist and a farmer. Especially, he has written this poem for this program. Thank you very much, Mr. Pandey, for written this poem. Mr. Puneet, please mute yourself. COVID-19 will reshape our world. We don't yet know when the crisis will end, but we can be sure that by the time it does, our world will look very different. Young people, when informed and empowered, when they realize that what they do truly makes a difference, can indeed change the world. Coronavirus disease 2019 is a contagious disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. The first case was identified in Wuhan, China in December 2019. The disease has since spread worldwide, leading to an ongoing pandemic. The Indian government's expenditure on health as a percentage of GDP still hovers around 1.5%, one of the lowest in the world. For around 52% of households in urban areas and 44% of households in rural areas, the private sector is the main source of healthcare when they are sick, according to government data. It is insufficient to take on a pandemic like COVID-19. The nationwide lockdown has led to loss of livelihood, education, access to family planning, services among young couples and young people. There is an increase in reported cases of gendered and domestic violence. It's about empowerment and participation backed by rigorous structure, process, quality assurance, and investment in people. COVID-19 has posed a significant challenge for policymakers and highlighted the need for data-driven modeling, new ideas, and participatory decision making through the inputs of outsiders and scientific experts. During the pandemic, policymakers have become adept of responding to complex challenges such as testing and contact tracing, enforcing the lockdown, and supporting migrant workers while continuing their normal activities. It is both a means, a way of achieving change and impacts for young people and their communities, youth leading development and in itself building the capacity, skills, and confidence of young people, creating a generation of leaders and forging sustainable linkage in communities. They are at the forefront of the risk communication initiative. For instance, they can address misinformation, discrimination, and stigma related to the crisis, disseminate information about COVID-19 using various platforms in official and local language. Young people can promote guidance and guidelines and address the COVID-19 related needs of the most vulnerable in their communities, can provide guidance on through hand washing practices to reduce the spread of the virus, can safely help seniors and other at-risk groups to access supplies such as food and medication, and nowadays promoting, motivating all those who are eligible for vaccine, so that youths can play a very, very important role in this vaccination drive. They must see to it that all those who are above 45 in their family, in their neighborhood, in their friends, relatives, or their relatives themselves, their own relatives, they must motivate them so that they can get the vaccine as early as possible. Youth can provide tools for physical activities and sports using social media during the confinement. Youth can find ways to check on and support other mental health through social media. Youth can also contribute to data collection and monitoring, including in relation to marginalized communities to assess the COVID-19 response. And now, as you know, the COVID has come back. So COVID returns. On 15th April 2021, that is till yesterday, India registered 216,850 new cases of coronavirus, which has taken the country's cumulative tally past 1,42,87,000 cases. Yesterday, 1,183 lost their life due to the coronavirus. And this, because of this yesterday's death, the total tally has raised to 1,74,335. It means 1,74,335 lost their lives till now due to corona. According to health officials, India has administered 11 crore 44 lakhs 93,238 vaccines doses across the country as of 15th April 2021, that is till yesterday. But this 11 crore 44 lakhs 93,238 is a drop in ocean because it includes the first dose as well as the second dose to many of them. So it's hardly percentage wise might be about 10%, not even 10%, 7, 8%. So this is nothing in comparison to the many countries where it has reached up to 55%. I'm talking only the first dose. I'm not talking the second dose. So in India, first dose might be about hardly 1%. So the population is so, and everybody knows the vaccine is shelf life is what the expert says, and even the media report says, even the Pfizer MD or the CEO has mentioned that every year one has to go for a vaccine. So it means once this year will be over by December, again from January 2022, we have to go for the next round of the vaccine. So if we will not complete the 100% adults in this year, it's very, very difficult to get the herd immunity. And if we will not get the herd immunity, it means the corona virus is going to stay. And if they will stay, the maximum sufferer, apart from everyone is suffering, will be the youth, because their future, their education, everything will be jeopardized. And so their entire life is on risk. So it's a very, very important to play a very, very important role by the youth to control COVID or coronavirus. And to discuss this very, very important topic, role of youth in controlling COVID, we have 7 youth with us, and we have chief guest. So I would like to invite and introduce our chief guest today, and she is Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur is the additional professor, Department of Community and Family Medicine, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Hyderabad. Dr. Kundapur completed MBBS in 2001 and MD in 2006 at JJM Medical College, Devangiri, Karnataka, with first class. She has 75 publications with H index 11 and I 10 index, 9 with 789 citations, publications with impact factor ranging from 0.51 to 4.53. She has more than 30 presentations in various state, national, and international conferences. She is the editor for IAPSM textbook of preventive and social medicine, published in 2019 and second edition in 2021. She has given more than 32 guest lectures and trainings. She was invited speaker for 3 international conferences and 8 national conferences and workshops. In 31st National Conference of 2004, she won Young Female Scientist Award. She was awarded Young Scientist Award by KACH in 46th conference in Manipal by Karnataka Association of Community Health in year 2011. In 46th National Conference of 2018, IAPSM, she was awarded Presidential Appreciation Award. In 47th National Conference 2019, she was awarded with the Fellowship in Preventive and Social Medicine, FIA-PSM. She has completed 3 funded projects as co-investigator. She has completed 7 funded projects as principal investigator and currently 1 ongoing. She was secretary for IMA Mangaluru 2019-20. Welcome, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur on our show. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, you remember, I am sure you also remember, you appeared, I think, couple of times on our show, and we always discuss about the COVID. At one time, initially, your views that the COVID may go early because the measures taken by the government, the complete lockdown and social distancing and hand washing and wearing the mask by the people at large. But now we have seen that the virus has mutated and so many new types of variants have come, and which is multiplying very fast. Earlier, we have reached to a peak on 11th September, something about nearly 98,000. But yesterday, we have touched almost 218,000. And so on, it's going on. There is no light. We can see the ray of light in the end of the tunnel as of now. So we would like to know, in these circumstances, how the youth, because the youth is 65% of the population in India who are below 45 years of age. So, and India is the youngest country in the world. So when this is the situation, their role is very, very important. So we would like to know from you the role for youth in controlling COVID. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, please.
Good morning, sir, and nice to be back with you all again. Thank you for calling me back into the show, and nice to meet all the youngsters also on the show. I think we were initially talking when the initial part of COVID came in, and I said that, of course, we had started the process much earlier, so probably we will be the better of the country. And of course, we went as a better of the country. And at that time also, I very clearly said that we will not be going off from COVID, but we will have to adapt ourselves for new normal. And very clearly that time I said that ours is a younger country, so our country is supposed to be protected against COVID much better than any other country. Again, thank you for calling for this youth one, where we have to say that. First and foremost, I would want to thank the youth of the country. I want to like what you said. Definitely, ours is a young country, and our country definitely has an advantage over most of the old countries to say that we are going much better with COVID-19. Yeah, the second wave has started, and this was expected. As the first wave declines, we have a second wave which will be coming up. And as the second wave declines, we will have again a third wave coming up. That's how the system of any flu is. And if the example is 1918 swine flu, which you look into, that's how the virus went on. And as always, I say, the virus is in, it's not going to vanish. We have to try to live with it and try to eliminate it as much as possible with all possible precautions we are going to take. And like last time I said, the PSM, that is physical distancing, sanitization, and mask is the crux of our whole part of avoiding or slow going of the disease. That doesn't mean there will not be infectivity, but our infectivity will go slow and we will not have a peak. And as you said, number of deaths will be reduced. In any pandemic, what we look into is the reduction of death rather than saying no disease, because it's not going to happen. Herd immunity is the answer. We should get the herd immunity either by mild infections of majority or vaccination. That's the only two answers where we have to get a herd immunity. And What we have to try to do is, as a medical professionals, to try and always save the more savable, who are all able to be saved, to be saved. For that, what we have to do is we have to make our infection run in a milder way. It's not to be picked up suddenly, because we do not have a great health system like any other countries, and we know that we are also developing country. So we have to adjust ourselves to our health system and make sure that the elderly and with the comorbidities get into the hospital much earlier, and they get a place in the hospital also, so that the infection doesn't become so heavy that there is no place in the hospital for others to get it. So these are the major idea what we have to carry always in wave 1, wave 2, or third wave. We have to carry the same idea always. Now coming to the role of youth. First thing is, whenever the youth, as all of us knew, even in the first wave, the first thing everybody was the panicity. Oh, what's going to happen? How am I going to leave? What is there? How are we going to do? Lockdown started, people feared, there was so much of panicity. In even wave 2, we have the panicity coming up, and we see this panic among the youth. First and most important is to avoid the panic among the youth. We should accept that this is going to be there. We have to live with it. We have to make a necessary arrangements to live with this. So that's one very important thing. And all youth should always believe that you shouldn't be going with the false news, false media, but go and see the authenticated news and see what is happening, rather than just giving here to what's happening there and again promoting those false news and false ideas. Lot of false ideas and false myths about the vaccines run around. All of us know vaccine is not anything in this world. Forget about vaccine. Anything in this world is not 100% safe. Anything, including walking on the road or staying at home. Nothing is 100% safe. Well, then we say it is more safer to be accepted. So the safety issues have to be considered and looked into. And when we have one person, when among the thousand or among the lakh, if one person has something to go, it cannot be avoided. So we should accept this and should not make it a big news to say, oh, that's all going wrong. That's not happening. So this is first thing which I would want to say, that we know that there is a disease. We have to accept the disease. We have to see what is the basic possible things to live happy. I would again want the youth of India especially to believe in no congregation. If you see, wherever there was a mela, wherever there was a lot of people, wherever there is a people getting in together, we all know from the beginning, youth are less symptomatic or asymptomatic, but they do get infectivity, which they pass on to the elders or people with comorbidities, who will have more symptoms or who will become severe and get into the hospital. So the point here is not only saying that elders and comorbid people should not go out, even the youth. Of course, it's not that they should not be going out. They should go for their work. They should be what they are doing, but should not be partying, should not be going on as a large people around, should not be avoiding the PSN, that is the physical distancing, going together, making a large group, talking loud, especially talking loud, because talking loud passes on the droplets to the front person in between you. It's not only sneezing, it's not only coughing, even if you're talking loud, even if you're singing loud. That is what the reason was with Dr. SPB. The singing by itself caused on the passing to Dr. SPB the virus. So we should be very careful that these should not be done as a process till we are free from corona or till we get a complete herd immunity. So we should avoid it, especially at the times when there is a wave going up. We see the wave is going up in many of the metropolitan. Why is it happening only in the metropolitan cities? That is because we see that lot of people, we wanted to play Holi, we wanted to party, we have not done it for long, so we want to do all those things, come back. So that's the reason from the beginning I've been telling we should accept a few points our new normal. Even if we go to work, even if we go to the school, it's important. So that is the reason I was always telling in the beginning also, we should make our schools compatible to have a distancing. We should make our hospitals compatible to have distancing. This has to continue till we are free from the virus being affecting larger population. There will be virus will not go, but it will not affect the larger population. We should avoid that. And as you said, second thing is all this gym. Of course, I know exercises are important, but we have many other ways. You can walk in an open air. You can do many of the things in an open air. You without talking, instead of having a congregation in the gym, swimming, avoid swimming and such things. So these components which can affect other people also. So it is a social responsibility. It is not just me not getting a disease. It's also a social responsibility of the youth of the country to see that my elders, my people at home are also not affected. My people in the community also do not get affected. I may not be having a severe. Now we see even in the second wave, a lot of youth also have a little more different symptoms and severe symptoms. But also looking into the numbers, it is less. So we should be very careful of our social responsibility as youth. Of course, I would be very thankful that our youths were in the forefront and during the lockdown, during migrant issues, or during food supply, or many of the things. And of course, I agree that they are the backbone of the country. But also, I would want them to be not careless, but careful about the surrounding society. Third thing which I would want to say, what you already said, that was you have to see, we need vaccination and that has to happen. Of course, vaccination cannot be as a rush. We look into, there is so many, we know the shelf life, like one time the vaccine is open, it stays only for 4 hours. You cannot use it after 4 hours. And if there are no enough people coming into that time period into the hospital, the whole vaccine goes lost. And if you look into now, a lot of private institutions are not vaccinating or vaccinating less number of days, because if the people do not come, they'll be wasting on the vaccines, they'll be wasting on the money. It's a country's economy which we are wasting on. Wastage is common in any vaccination, but if you do not do it on an apt time or appropriately on a process, we will be wasting on the vaccine, which is very dangerous for all of us. Now, all about the country has come up with above 45 also, where they were saying elderly, because there is a second wave, so that many people who are at risk for comorbidities, that is diabetes and hypertension, has to be looking into and taking a vaccine appropriately. So the motivation of people to go into vaccination is a part of youth. And all of us know that the people, the children at home or youth at home tell something, all of us would want to follow it. Elders want to follow. So it's very important for them to motivate them to go into for vaccination. Of course, if possible, it will be coming down to get into the other youth also. But right now, the eligible, the people who are at risk are given the more priority for vaccines. So the vaccines should not be wasted. We should make sure that there are enough people, more people going into the vaccination center and getting their vaccines, so that the herd immunity is early. And that, of course, will help as a country as a whole. The productivity is from youth, and we would want them to contribute in all ways, not only in the working, but also as a productivity in the health, so that they are the health advisors or health keepers of the country. So this is very important, what you spoke about among vaccination, what you said. Another important thing which I want to say among all of that is, all of us know many of the diseases, including COVID-19, is going to be severe or deaths are high when there are comorbidities. What are those comorbidities? Hypertension and diabetes. Now, why? hypertension and diabetes are increasing? All of us know it's because of our diet, it's because of our non-exercise. We are having a high level of all these increasing in our process. So I would want to tell very clearly that, just a second, sir. So we would want to have that this has to go on as a process to reduce hypertension and diabetes, which will be a longer run helpful for whole of a country. So for that, what should we do? The non-risk youth and who are supposed to go into risk has to control and have a good diet, balanced diet that not only improves the longer run, but also increases your immunity for COVID. So having a good diet, decreasing on processed foods. Now, right now, in the second wave, all of us have realized that any of the processed foods are increasing the infectivity rate. So decreasing on processed food and having a better household food, which most of the youngsters do not like, has to be cultivated as a habit to everybody. Exercise, of course, if not gym, there are many other ways of exercising yourself. Making the more mobility of yourself is very, very important not only for now, for a longer time. And that practice will also increase your immune boost. There is not necessary of having any immune boosters. We require the immunity to be developed as a process within our system. So these activities will definitely help us to get into a better lifestyle in the country by itself. And then we can not only corona, we can not only COVID-19, we can also face many other viruses. And COVID-19 is not the first and will not be the end. We will have to face many of them. So we have to make ourselves prepared to face all this. So in general, I would want to say youth have a major role. First and foremost, not forwarding any of the false medias, looking into what should be the true media and what they should understand. Second, also not panicking, but accepting and living a better life, which they can, accepting the new normal as a part of their life and not doing the cope idiots behavior. We call it as cope idiots behavior, having our own PSM, that is physical distancing, sanitizing and masking for self, and unnecessary no movement. We have to go what is necessary, but unnecessary movements we can avoid. We can have multiple others. Of course, youth are today very, very creative. So you can create multiple ways of their own entertainment instead of going and getting a disease, and also looking into and promoting within house and around houses vaccination so that our vaccines are not spoiled, not wasted, and we have more early herd immunity. And we also developing a better lifestyle within ourselves. This is the best time where we can have a better lifestyle so that the country becomes a better country in the future. So this is my say for the youth of today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Dr. Rashmi Kundapur has given her expert opinion, being a doctor, that what the role of the youth, and she emphasized on 3-4 important points. And the first point is about the fake news, because this is a time any fake news about the COVID, because in the social media many fake news are coming that so and so doctor has given the opinion that this corona has no impact, nothing, it's just created by somebody, and all are false. The another is the fake news is for vaccine. Many social media, we are seeing that there are lots of forwards are coming. They are saying this vaccine are very harmful. This vaccine are not going to control the other. Because of the vaccine, South African variant is 8 times more effective. And another forward says that no need of this vaccine. It is going to create a problem in future. So many things are coming. Even people are forwarding that this is nothing but the country and some few rich people are minting money So it's just a political game is going on. So the important part is the fake news, which she has emphasized. Secondly, not to be panicked. Yes, this is a new norm. One has to live like this in future till we will conquer or we will have good medicines for the cure or herd immunity, but which in India is not that easy to get because of so many reasons. First is the lack of vaccination, and until as the vaccination is not taking place, it is not possible. So all these factors. And secondly, what she says about the motivation to the elders, where the people can go for the vaccine and see to it that no vaccine should be wastage, and keeping the social distancing, etc. She also emphasized no partying. She says no functions. She mentioned about Holi, but she has not mentioned about Kumbh. You, as a youth, please see to it that whatsoever people are doing, they are elder people, they are known, knowledgeable, so-called knowledgeable people. If they are doing wrong, you must come forward and tell them that this is wrong. What they are doing, they are not harming themselves, they are harming the entire country. So one has to be very, very clear in their views. And youth, you have a power. You are 65% of the population. You should not allow anyone to play with your life. You must come forward and mention that these things which are happening, whether they are election rallies, whether they are Kumbh Melas, Holies, whatsoever, wherever the public large gathering is taking place without social distancing, without masking, youth have a very, very important role to play. Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, for giving initial your very, very motivational, inspirational, expert opinion about the role of youth in controlling COVID. I'm sure our youths who are participating and those who are watching, and not only youth, even the elders, they all must know that by doing such type of gathering, we are not harming. If they are not harming themselves, they are harming their own family, their own children, their own parents. So please be careful. If you want to play with the blood, then you are allowed to do all these types of gatherings. Otherwise, please, my request is, please see to it that no one should have such type of gathering till we have a good remedy, we have the herd immunity or good medicines, so that nobody should die. One death is as painful as thousands or lakhs of death. So we should not see, we should see to it not a single person should die. Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. Now I would like to invite my first youth guest, and he is Mr. Benson Thomas. Mr. Benson Thomas, you have heard what our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, has spoken, and she has given all the details. Now, we would like to know your views, the role of youth in controlling COVID. Mr. Benson Thomas, please.
Thank you, Goel sir. Uh, Thank you, Rashmi ma'am, for the very informative speech from your side. My name is Benson Thomas George. I'm basically uh, Mallu from Kerala, but I'm right now in Dubai. I have a robotics company over here in Dubai. I'm basically an entrepreneur. So what I experienced from experience over here in UAE, as well as what I have seen in my state, Kerala, that's what I just wanted to share with you. And by the way, I just want to share my experience with COVID also, because I was one among the very few people who got infected during 2020 March in the beginning stage. So the first thing that I kept with me is nothing but I stayed positive throughout. Positive in the sense not in test alone, but I was positive in the thought process. So it was the initial stage was everyone was talking like, no, if you're affected with COVID, like, it's gone, it's done. Like, no, it was like that in the beginning stage. And but what I experienced is that yes, I had some health issues and all, but what I kept on propagating through my friends, through the social media which I am actively participating in, is nothing but we should not be fearing COVID. Rather, we should be careful. As Sam said, we should be careful about COVID. We should be no, very careful about the issues that we're going to face because of COVID. That's the first thing that I, as a youth, I need to communicate with my society, that we should think positively even when you are affected. Even when you are positive, you should stay positive, and unless you turn negative in the test. That's one thing. Second, as a youth, yeah, I agree that like normally youths are asymptomatic, or there won't be much symptoms in our body. But as ma'am rightly said, we might like no share this virus with the elder people. But at the very same time, I just want to make sure that as a youth, I need to take care of my elder people. So, because the elderly people are getting fastly affected and they have like the death rates are very high. So, as an youngster, I should take care of my elders. If I'm from Kerala, like if I have nearby people who are like elderly, if I need to take care of some things for them, like their daily things. As a youngster, it's my responsibility to take care of that. That's my second point. Third thing that I thought was, and all the youngsters of India should be the brand ambassadors of the health department of India, be it any state. So whatever the government want to communicate with the people, so we should make sure that it reaches out to everyone, because I strongly believe every youth has access to all the right information, not fake information, right information. It's as important as not sharing false information. It is very important to share the right information also. So I just want to say that we should share the right information to the people, and youth should take the responsibility of that. And as you know, people, Rishmi was also clearly telling, our life is more important than the economy. See, the government is not ready to completely lock down our country because we are fearing an economic crisis, a huge crisis. But at the end of the day, we should understand that our life is more important than the economi. And as Goyal sir rightly said, and as a youth, I should speak out against the Kumbh Melas, the Tabligh, or any religious gatherings as a whole, because I'm so sad to say that I'm having some, I'm not saying everyone, some foolish leaders who invite people to such gatherings, huge gatherings. I want PHCs and FHCs instead of toilets. See, I have few people who want to build crores and crores of toilet in the country. Okay, if I'm having land, like go to the public and have it. But right now I want PHCs, I want FHCs. See, I saw like the vaccinations of few videos where like people are crowded and they go for vaccination. No, it's so crowded and there is no safe distancing. So I need more hospitals, more temporary hospital setups. That's what government need to fund right now. And as a youth, I need to shout out this thing with as a group, as a community, as youngsters. But unfortunately, even though I'm a youth, I don't belong to the youth community as such, because we are categorized. We are either ABVP, we are either SFI, we are like yeah, IYC, or we are like youths of Christian community, youth of Hindu community, youth of Muslim community. But unless and until we youth stand together and shout out to against the wrong practices what the government is doing right now, we don't want lamb anymore. We want nothing other than right medical measures. Right now, we should not talk about religion or any politics. We should talk about science. We should talk about spirituality. Yes, mental health. So, to conclude, what I was trying to say is that as a youngster, I should come forward, take care of my elders, and make sure that unnecessarily no you should go out, but for necessary things, yes, you should go out, take care of the elderly people, and make sure that everyone is staying positive, spiritually, mentally, and staying negatively during the PCR test. And that is what I need to share with you, Goel sir. And that's what I experience here in Dubai too. Like at the end of the day, we all are responsible. Even though I can say that government has to take measures, but at the end of the day, we all are responsible for this. Thank you, Goel sir, for this opportunity. I believe that I stick on to the time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benson. Yes, you stuck to the time. And what Mr. Benson has mentioned, a very important point about the religious and all other activities. And he says that he's from Kerala. I would like to add one thing. In Kerala also, we had elections. And before election, because the other day, the one doctor, she's a renowned cardiologist from Kollam, she joined my media conference and she was giving a figure. She says the positivity rate before the election was 2%, and after the election is 10%. Now, when so much increase in the during because of the election, right now, like West Bengal, the elections are on, figures are less about the test or the positive results, but everyone knows that once the election will be over, you will see the surge, how fast it will be. So yes, the youth has to take it in a very vocal way and tell all the elders that please try to understand Elections can come and go. There is no problem. Every year elections can have, but the lives, if we will lose a life, it is not going to come back again. Thank you very much, Mr. Benson, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next guest, and he's Mr. Lakshya Khandelwal. Mr. Lakshya Khandelwal, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, as well as earlier youth guest. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in controlling COVID. Mr. Lakshya Khandelwal, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Lakshya Khandelwal from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and I am pursuing PGDM from Indus Business School, Pune. Before starting, I would like to thank Dr. Mohan Agarwal, sir, and Mr. Goel, sir, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be a part of this media conference. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Rashmi ma'am for sharing her views. Now, I would like to share my views on the topic role of youth in controlling COVID. COVID-19 is a word with which we are all familiar. Almost before 1 year, this disease starts spreading in our community, which leads to the complete shutdown of all the activities all over the world. Due to this pandemic, many people lost their lives, and even after 1 year, we are don't able to control the spread of COVID. It's almost the same condition that was in the last year. Many states have imposed night lockdown to control COVID. The government is appealing people to maintaining social distancing, wear masks, and vaccination drive is in full flow. Even after all these activities, the spread is uncontrollable. On 5th May 2020, the WHO co-hosted a webinar entitled COVID-19 and the Youth of Today, Leaders of Tomorrow. This webinar showcased the work of youth leaders from across the world responding to the global coronavirus disease pandemic. Even WHO believes that the young generation can play a major role in controlling the spread of this virus. The youth are high of energy and dedication, and they can bring a change. Youth in India constitutes more than one-fourth of the total population. We, as a responsible youth of this country, should participate in this battle against this zoonotic disease. A famous English anthropologist, Jane Goodall, said that young people, when informed and empowered, when they realize what they do truly makes a difference, can indeed change the world. This small quote is enough to prove that the young generation can make our country totally change. The challenge that the world is facing is lack of awareness. People are not ready to wear masks, washing hands, and using sanitizers and maintaining social distancing. So, as a young people, we can take initiative and let organizations and network to spread awareness about this virus. They can spread awareness, especially in the rural areas, about the impact of COVID. They can educate people for washing hands, maintaining distancing, and also give us safety guidance to senior people. They can also spread awareness through social media because there is a lot of fake information circulating through social media. So youth can make posters, and by making a social media chain, they can spread awareness among people. People are afraid of taking COVID vaccines. They are thinking that there are side effects or they are not taking interest in the taking vaccination. So we as a youth can aware people about the benefits of taking vaccination, and we can make people aware of vaccination drive. If a large number of youth take this initiative, if they start it from their home, it will be a great success in the inoculation drive. Apart from all these things, you can also take initiatives to make people mentally strong because people loses their job, family members, money, and many things. So due to this, they can do something related to people's mental health. Then it will be a great health for the world. If youth come together for fighting against this COVID-19, they can definitely make a change. A small step towards fighting COVID disease from youth can lead to a huge change in the world. At the end, I want to say that youth are energetic, dedicated, and a small step towards controlling COVID can create an impact all over the world. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. This is all from my side.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lakshya Khandelwal, for giving your views. You rightly said that about the mental health, and that is a very, very big issue because 1 year has already passed, and people out of 1 year, most of the time people were under the lockdown. And when they were in the lockdown, they were sitting at home because the colleges, the schools were closed, especially when we are talking of youth. And if their online classes were on, and online classes were not fruitful or successful in India due to the lack of infrastructure. So if these are the cases, definitely the mentally youth, although it has affected everyone, but the youth faced lots of mental pressure. And this is the duty of the youth to see to it that he or she should not all herself or himself, but rather the entire family should not face. They must engage with new ideas, come out with the new ideas, see to it that the family is not being under the mental tension, although there are so many tensions due to the this COVID and due to the lockdown, financial conditions or the family conditions, but still the youth can play a very, very important role, which you have highlighted. I'm sure that if youth will understand that this is a time which we have to pass in a very, very calm way. We should not try to see to it that, no, we have to go for party. I am fed up. I am sitting at home. I can't now sit more. That type of attitude we should leave, because life is more important than the parties. Parties, you can have as many parties whenever the things are normal. Thank you very much, Mr. Laksh Khandelwal, for giving your views. And I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Miss Lipa D. Shira. Miss Lipa D. Shira, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, as well as earlier youth guests. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in controlling COVID. Miss Lipa D. Shira, please. First introduce yourself and then.
Good morning to all. My name is Lipa D. Shira. I'm from Meghalaya, studying in Loyola College. I'm doing my bachelor's in English literature. Before giving my talk, I want to thank Sir Goyal for giving me this opportunity to speak on the role of youth in controlling COVID. As a youth, I want to share my experience, what I did when first time I heard about the news of COVID. The news of COVID was circulating among my friends. They were talking like COVID is an insect or germ that form inside the body and cause the body to rot if we come in contact with COVID patients. But however, I was still doubtful and wanted to know more about it. So I did some searches in internet and watched news. And when I was assured of it, immediately I informed my family members what is COVID, how it caused, and what precautions should be taken, like wearing of masks, social distancing, taking care about hygiene, etc. Then I shared it with my friends, relatives, and in my locality. Like that, I tried to share some information about it and was always updated myself with the latest news of COVID. Likewise, every youngster should make themselves aware with accurate information and should pass it on to the others. More or less, youth have great influence on people, whether it is directly or indirectly. Nowadays, everyone is aware of protocols of COVID, but what is more important now is to convince people to follow the protocols, as the moral patience of people is going down because they are fed up of this current situations. For that, youngsters can conduct some activities to convince the importance of social distancing, wearing of masks, etc. These are the things which the youths can do directly to encourage others, and indirectly by following the protocols by themselves. By the behavior of the youths, people can be influenced and automatically they will start following them. I can give my own example. Whenever I go, I wear a mask. By seeing me, my parents and my siblings also wear a mask anywhere they go. And most important thing is that we must not let people to get misinformed and misguided. I am from a remote area, and sometimes I used to hear from people like this COVID is a trick of government, that they are sending the virus to us and then they will make vaccine and will try to loot us. So we can see that how people are misinformed. As a youth, we must not allow this to happen and should try to give people correct information by conducting awareness programs in remote areas where people can be misguided. I want to request to all youngsters to take the responsibility in leading people with correct information and to follow the protocols of COVID so that others will also see and follow us without any hesitation. I want to give a small quote that a father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, has said. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. With this, I want to conclude my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lipa D. Shira, for giving your views. And you rightly said about the how to create awareness about the procedures and protocols. And you mentioned about the mask. But it was seen that the fashion is that many, I can say many, majority of the people are wearing masks. Those who are wearing masks, they are not wearing mask properly. Their mask is always either on the chin or only covering the mouth. It is not even covering the nose. And I am sure the Dr. Rashmi Kundapur will vouch about it. The infection which we are taking is through the nose. And if you are covering only your mouth, you are not giving infection to someone else. But what about yourself? You are getting the infection because you are not covering your nose. So the mask position should be from the covering the nose, mouth, and chin, because chin is to hold it. But the main thing is this portion. But unfortunately, in India, we have seen it has become a fashion not to wear. They feel that, okay, I'm wearing like this, and they just want to show off. There's nothing like show off. You are playing with your own life. Why blame government? Why blame others? You have to blame yourself. If anything happens to you or your own family, don't blame the government. Government never says that wear mask like this. You yourself is wearing the mask. You means I'm talking of the youth. Those who are wearing masks just to show off. And because they are wearing masks like this, even the elders and your siblings, all the youngers, they are also following the same practice. So whenever going out, please wear the mask properly. Even now, the CDC in USA has come out with a new guidelines. They says N95 mask you wear first, and then wear the surgical mask. If you are going to a congested place, or if you feel somewhere where the infection chances are more. Otherwise, even if you are wearing one mask, it should be proper mask. Either if it is a cloth mask, I can't vouch, I'm not an expert, but it should be cleaned every time. It should not be used for weeks or months together, the same mask. Otherwise, you are becoming a super spreader, as well as you are also going to get the virus soon. So the responsibility of the youth is very, very important. They have to see to it that they should not make it as a fashion thing that they are wearing mask below the nose. It should be properly worn. Then only they can follow the protocol prescribed by the government. Similarly, the social distancing has to be 2 meters or 6 feet. That has to be maintained. Otherwise, to say that virus is very deadly, virus is deadly, no doubt about it. But if you will not prevent yourself, then definitely virus, whether deadly or not deadly, it is going to be very much vital for you. Thank you very much, Ms. Lipa Deshira, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my next youth guest, and he's Mr. Nishan N. Mr. Nishan N, you have heard what our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, as well as earlier youth guest has mentioned. Now, we would like to know from you your views on the role of youth in controlling COVID. Mr. Nishan N, please.
Hello everyone, I am Nishan, studying law from SDM Law College, Mangalore. As I have noticed, will never trust about COVID consequences. Even if we try to that COVID do exist, it can cause death. In India, they won't believe it. According to you, that they themselves come to conclusion that they have, but we can agree for some extent that they might have power, but what about their parents or friends who might not have the same immunity, or they might have comorbidities? So even if one individual think that corona is a scam, by wearing mask and using sanitizer, he's not going to use it. At least for the sake of society, we can do that. My contention is that whether you believe in corona or not, that is left to you. But when you are in public place, whether you are interested or not, whether you like, you have to wear mask and you have to strictly adhere for COVID protocols. And if you don't believe in corona, it's okay. If you don't follow COVID protocols in family, inside your house, it's fine. That is private place. But when you should be a responsible citizen and you should follow the rule, even for a fool in public places. Because when you are in public, the life of a poor individual who might follow all the protocols, one irresponsible citizen, he might end up getting positive. And doctors can wear masks for hours together continuously. Why not others? We are people, even they are people. Is there necessary to show keep it open as if we are eagerly wait to see their face or nose? Why can't they cover it when they are acting with people, at least when they are alone? If they keep it, it is open, it is fine for some extent. And one more thing is that people argue with cops or police when they impose fine for not wearing mask in public places. Why will they impose fine on us? If we follow all the rule proper, start trying to find your own faults, then many young adults are safe social distancing and wearing masks, but others have been ignoring warnings. Officials have been reporting nationwide many new infections among young adults, that is under 35 years of age. Although many of them are well aware that the risk involved, they still gather large group by making parties or any holiday. Officials have urged young adults to follow all the guidelines, uh, and also during corona outbreak, even penal laws provisions such as section 188, 269 and 270 of IPC are being invoked to enforce lockdown orders in various states. Section 269, negligent likely to spread infection of disease dangerous to life. Whoever unlawfully or negligently does any act which is or which he has the reason to believe it to be like the infection of any dangerous to life shall be punished with interest up to 6 months or fine or with both. Even 270, that is malignant act likely to spread the infection of this is dangerous to life. Even for this section, it is punishable up to 2 years with fine or with both. Both sections have been used for over a century to punish those disobeying these orders. UP police booked Kanika Kapoor, singer, under this section, 29888, after she attended at least 3 gatherings, including a party where political leaders and they were tested positive. There have been other instances where these sections were booked for disobeying the quarantine rules. Very big population of Indians. So if youth themselves don't obey these orders, then how can we protect the old people who are immunocompromised? Be responsible citizens. Please follow COVID-related protocols. Educate others regarding your family members, friends, colleagues who are able to take this, that is above 45 years. When on cigarette and alcohol, they clearly mentioned that it causes cancer and death. Person asks for proof and consume it fearlessly. Vaccine gives us life. Still, people are asking for proof and sending fake messages. In India, around 12 crore people have already been vaccinated. So many people are surviving, and also they are healthy. So what else proof is there are people are surviving by taking vaccine. To conclude, vaccine and COVID does not belong to any one policy. So such protocols, night curfews, lockdown, vaccine, is followed even in well-developed countries to save their citizens. So for giving this wonderful opportunity, thank you Lal Goel sir, thank you Paul sir, and thank you Rashmi ma'am for giving your views. Thank you sir.
Thank you, Mr. Nishan, for giving your views. And as a legal person, because you are studying in law, you mentioned about the fines, etc. But see, the condition in India, we have a very, very less fine. I will give you the example of UK. If a person who arrived there and if he is in home quarantine, if he breaks that quarantine, he comes out from his house or her house, he or she is going to fine by 10,000 pounds, which works out to be almost 10 lakhs rupees. Unless so, and we cry, we say that the police is fining 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees. Here, we blame the government, but I think the government should also increase the fine to lakhs of rupees. Then only everyone will have fear. Then they will not go out just and pay the fine, because 10 lakhs rupees fine. Just imagine if a person is landing in UK and everyone who is landing there, the person has to be in 10 days mandatory at home quarantine until unless he or she is not coming from the red area, red zone. That is the some countries like Pakistan, Kenya, they have put it in that zone. India is not yet there. So that though they are putting in the hotel quarantine or the institutional quarantine, but here home quarantine. But in India, only 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees. People pay and they say, oh, I have done this. This is where the youth have to pay. You have to play a very important role. Don't flout any law. You say, no, why should we pay the fine? I will be inside the home. Here we have seen people are in quarantine and they are boosting that. See, I was put in the quarantine, but I was moving out, friends, going out, coming back, partying, but I am in quarantine. This is not the correct way. With whom you are playing? You are not befooling the government. You are not befooling anyone else. You are befooling yourself, your own family, your parents, your children, your spouse, your siblings. So if you don't want to, if you have no love for your family, please flout the laws and feel that, see the consequences what can be. Thank you very much, Mr. Nishan, for giving your views. Now I would like to move to my next youth guest, and he is Mr. Puneet PR. Mr. Puneet PR, please unmute yourself. Mr. Puneet, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Puneet, PR, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. You have also heard earlier youth guests. Now we would like to know from you your views on the role of youth in controlling COVID. Mr. Puneet PR, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So first of all, I would like to thank previous speakers, ma'am and sir, and speakers for having me here. And today I am Puneet, freelance skill development trainer, recipient of National Award Field of Social, and currently doing MSW in Harvard Degree College, Mudbidre, Mangalore. Okay, firstly, I would like to put across two main groups, that is marginalized, millions of marginalized people and most vulnerable groups. Marginalized people are like migrant people, daily wage, and isolated people. And the vulnerable groups are old age people, physically handicapped or person, and mentally retarded person. So according to the research, these two groups are more victimized with the COVID positive. And what is the role of youth here? And who is considered, first of all, youth? So youth is, every country is given an age group for youth. Youth is young, united, outstanding, truthful, humbleness. Those who have this character or trait consider him or her as youth. And my first point here is, according to my sense, there are two types of virus spreading right now worldwide. The first one is COVID-19, and second one is fake or false information. I'll give an example for fake information, like virus is spreading through air. Virus is only present in the cold water, so don't drink. And virus are spreading to the animals. And every newspaper give different death rate and COVID positive rate. Just stop it. Don't give false information to the society. And in every field, youth are there. Journalism department, social media department, education, politics, social welfare department, everywhere youth are there. Before giving services to the society, please cross-check, verify, give right information to the society. Why? Because my next point here is mental health wellness. This false information directly affects the negative impact to the society. Psychologically, the individual will be died. For example, I will say the person COVID positive died due to associated symptoms, associated disease. But people, media will highlight he only died with a positive, COVID positive. On the other hand, please think the neighbor or person or the listener or observer, suppose he have a COVID positive. He already psychically is dead. What is the role of youth here? Please, we will say, no, youth, vibrant, 100% of energy, lot of things, positive energy. Just talk to them. Just talk to giving the right message, right information that nobody is going to die because of COVID-19. It's just a fever, kind of fever or flu with symptoms related to fever. Just talk to give a positivity, share the that nobody die only because of COVID-19. Okay, and my next point here is ensure that most vulnerable groups are not left behind. Again, I will give an example. It's happened in the Bangalore. Person with visually impaired admitted to the hospital with a COVID positive. He failed to access the doors over there. Nobody helped or support guiding because COVID positive. As if we are treating for earlier, we are treating for HIV victims, all those things, untouchability. And what about the person with mental retard individual? They may not aware. What is the role of youth here? Support. small things can change the world. Sometimes, please support, like just guide. It's not that I'm going to help them or not going to do it. So neighbors understand. And my next point here is enhanced communication. Enhanced communication between whom? Is that COVID patient with a doctor? Yes. Also, there are some communities or groups in our country, like tribal people or the people those who have accessible to the internet or social media. They might need right information. They might need really a true protocol about COVID-19 and preventive measures. Just increase our communication. Let us something do different, giving right information to the needy people. And my next point is delivering and sanitization. So here is important point I would like to say here, because I was taking a class for migrant children during a pandemic time. So I just asked them what is the source of electricity and food. They just shown some buildings here. Then they said, sir, we are taking the water from those homes by giving 10 rupees per bucket. Is it here? I was like, what is this fellow? Because there are a lot of 3-4 buildings, cars, homes are there. But still they are taking 10 rupees for each bucket of water, and that too water which is not used them for drinking purpose. But these people are using for cooking and watering, everything. Everything. Why I am telling this point here? Because they need some certain guidance, or at least food. Okay, during pandemic, we youngsters or any NGOs or whatever for the food and all fine, but they need continuously need hygienic health and right information about COVID, and their health hygiene maintaining is very much important in controlling of the COVID. And this is all my view of role of youth in controlling COVID-19. And thank you for the session. So let us move forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Puneet. As I told you in the very beginning, your bandwidth was very low, network is very low. Whenever in future, whenever you are coming for a media conference, which is going to be live telecast, which is in live telecast, please see to it that network should be good. Otherwise, your views which you have expressed, hardly any views could be communicated properly. And communication, as you mentioned, is very important. If you cannot communicate because of the network, then the purpose is defeated. But anyways, you have made your point that the positiveness, the facts should go. But please see to it that next time, whenever, in whatsoever platform you are coming, your network should be proper. Thank you very much, Mr. Puneet, for giving your views. Now, I would like to move to my next guest, and he is Mr. Samson Salins. Mr. Samson, you have heard our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur. You have heard the earlier youth guest. Now, we would like to know from you, your views, the role of youth in controlling COVID. Mr. Samson Salins, please.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for having me in this show, sir. And I am Samson from St. Teresa's School, Bendur, Mangalore. And I would like to share my views.
You are studying in which class, please?
9th.
Okay.
And I would like to share my views about the role of the youth in COVID-19. Swami Vivekananda once said, take risk in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide. COVID, the name itself, had an enormous impact on each and every human being living on this planet Earth. Some tried to prevent it, some faced it. We have heard stories, experiences, psychological disorders, all revolving around this disease since a year. When will it ever end? No one knows. But it can be prevented if taken the right measures. Events in the past few years show us that young people are willing and able to address the biggest challenges of our time. News feeds have sometimes reported that these generations are ignorant and lazy. But the youth are even branded as asymptomatic carrier of the disease. However, the potential impact of the young on the course of this pandemic goes far beyond epidemiology. They play a pivot role in fight against COVID, and this youth energy is immense. Coming to the role of controlling COVID. Starting from home, families and households now depend on the youth to assist with the buying of groceries, medicines, and running errands. One designated member per house were also selected for this work. There are stories of young people who have come forward to assist in the pandemic response, be it in distribution of food packets and undertaking of cremation ceremonies or raising awareness through social media, like example for making apps. Our youth have always been on the front line. We have examples where medical professionals in training have, in many cases, had their courses temporarily cut short as they were needed in the frontline clinical support roles. Young people can disseminate information about COVID-19 using various platforms in official and local languages. They can contribute to data collection and monitoring to COVID response. They can find ways to check on and support mental health through social media. They can provide guidance on thorough sanitization and reduce the spread of the virus. In their own communities, they can spread their knowledge, right knowledge according to them. We, as a responsible youth of this country, should participate in this battle. This outbreak has also affected the mental health of humans as everyone reacts differently to stressful situation. So in this art, we need to spread right knowledge, right humor, right videos, and ensure we are going to win this battle. Our youth must be given a chance to engage in decision-making bodies leading the response against COVID at national and regional level. They can be active participants in social recovery and decision making, but require appropriate information, opportunities, and a means by which their voices can be heard. Youth must be made active participants rather than passive recipients. On the other hand, it is sad to see that many youth have lost their jobs, many have returned home, and they are desperately trying to run their families. Although it is not possible to address this situation on the whole, I think such young people need support, encouragement, and opportunities to move on in life. We have already read many youngsters succumbing to substantial abuse, mental depression, suicide, and even theft, robbery, and murder. How are these issues addressed? This is also some kind of side effect on the youth, which suffers due to the COVID effects economically. Yet again, the onus lies on the youth as well as our government to work hard in hand in hand to curb this crisis. As opposed to branding young people as lazy and ignorant, it's time we appreciate their unique experiences and abilities to help the world make through and move through this pandemic. This is a generation of firebrand leadership. It was ever a time this world needed them. It was none. Their energy must be harnessed and vented out. And this pandemic is truly a right situation to show off what so-called our youth power. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sampson, for giving your views. Although you have mentioned about the policy making, I will again repeat, which I am repeating almost all the youth conference. The youth should understand up to 45 years of age, they are 65% in India. But unfortunately, if we see in the decision making, as you have mentioned, the policy making, the first parliament in 1952 consisted of 26% of the member of parliament MPs, which were aged below 45. But this parliament, the latest parliament of 2019, the total percentage of youth is up to 45 years in the parliament is only 12%. So one side, the youth says that we want in the policy making, and other side, they are not even voting for their own youth. So to blame the seniors or the elders, I think it is the blame goes directly to the youth only. If you are not united, no one is going to listen for you and no one is going to take care of you. But anyways, you have made your point. That's a very important point that youth should come out and do the things. Thank you very much, Mr. Sampson, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my last, but not the least, the guest, and she is Miss Sanchana Shetty. Ms. Shetty, you have heard what our chief guest, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, as well as earlier youth guests have spoken. Now we would like to know from you the role of youth in controlling COVID. Ms. Sanjana Shetty, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to all the viewers and my fellow participants. So my name is Sanjana D. Shetty from the School of Social Work, Roshni Nilaya. I'm doing my first year BSW. So thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity and even like giving me to the chance to share my point of view. So in increasing numbers, young people are proactively taking action to reduce the spread of the virus and working to address the pandemic impact. So the COVID-19, that is the coronavirus, a pandemic has made us realize that we all are connected and this entire world is a family. So although all are connected and the medical experts have suggested social distancing as one of the best way to fight against the new evil. So we all are one of the so that's the perfect solution to fight against the uh, COVID-19. So we all are impacted by COVID-19 is in one way or the other. So no matter where we are in the world and where in the age spectrum we sit. So, however, some of us are at high risk, for instance, senior citizen people with severe underlying health condition. Some of us are more impacted than others due to the individual, community, or geographical circumstances. The one thing that surely must cut across all this level is being overwhelmed with a constant influx of information and misinformation, both online and offline. So we see, we hear, we read one thing, and before we have a second to grasp it, we all are flooded by the completely different set of information. So, however, this crisis shouldn't be the call to panic, regardless of how tough that might be. So, young people always ask how we can change the world. So, my answer to this is first, there must be a change within me, that is us, and then we can expect and see the change around me. So when we as a responsible youth of this country should participate in this battle against the disease. So let me share how youth can help in winning this battle. So we can spread the right awareness to our family, to our friends. Then we can also use social media with the right information about the situation. Then we can follow the simple guideline by the World Health Organization, that is properly washing our hands, then avoiding social distance, then wearing a mask correctly, that is by covering our nose and mouth, not only our mouth, it's both nose and mouth. Then when we are traveling anywhere, we can carry our own water bottle instead of asking others or taking it from the shops, because even that is not safe. Then by using sanitizer, and if we are sick, then we should seek the medical attention immediately. And we can educate our family, friends, and community. We can guide or say our own neighbors about what is happening, and if they are not wearing mask, we ourselves can go and say that this thing is like, this is a situation, we need to wear mask, it is compulsory to wear mask for our own safety. Then we can volunteer. So we can find opportunity to volunteer in our own community. So we youth can help the senior citizen by picking their groceries or their medicines. So the healthcare workers around the world are called to work in the high demand, and they might need our help looking after their children or looking after their parents while they attend the life-saving work in clinics and hospitals around the world. So this can show how young people can help the sick and needy. So it's not that we can go like randomly to anyone within our family. If there are people like there are the COVID warriors or the social worker or the workers, that is the health workers, so we can just help them. So whatever gets sorry, so if the positive So if the positive cases are effectively measured, we shall be able to contain the outbreak effectively. So it's our responsibility to spread the right kind of awareness within the family, society, rather than wasting time on optional stuff. The outbreak of coronavirus has also affected the mental health of humans, as everyone reacts differently to stressful situation. So in this hour of stress or anxiety, so let's spread the right knowledge, right humor, and ensure that we are going to win this battle. To understand better, it is not the coronavirus which is dangerous, but it is the uh, quick spread which is the threat. So let us do our part and participate in the battle by staying at home and following the guidelines whenever we go out. So some people, like staying at home, people might find that it's boring or upset that we can't leave the home, like we can't go out. So while there are so many people in the hospital or the workers like who want to go home, so we must thank God that we have to stay home, because like despite everything, with money or without money, with the job or without job, we are in the best place. So we could be with our loved ones, we can practice yoga or certain kind of meditation or thing, which is the best way to like come out of this COVID thing. We can practice exercise or anything. We can also do vegetable gardening in our own houses. So for time pass, like who think that like it's waste of
Please be brief.
yeah. So it's like vegetable gardening, and we can do many other such things. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shetty. And one point which I will just highlight, but she has made a very important point. If a youth see anyone suffering from corona or any type of disease at present time, immediately guide them to consult a expert doctor, not to guide them through the WhatsApp university. WhatsApp prescriptions are going on. They all are not correct. Everyone should understand that every person is having a different need of the prescription, which only a medical doctor can advise, not the WhatsApp university or anyone else who is not a doctor. So that is a very, very important role of a youth, to motivate and to enlighten and create awareness that if any time they have a temperature or any symptom, immediately talk to the doctor, whosoever is their first physician or doctor, and see to it that they should be treated timely. Thank you very much, Ms. Shetty, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite our chief guest. You have heard today the youths have given so many ideas today, and their ideas are really bright. They have given. I would like to know from you your concluding remark. 3 minutes for you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kundam. Please.
Thank you, sir. And it was very overwhelming to talk, all of them talking about it, and how rightly they are talking about. Very important. Some of the things which I would want to say is, even Lipsha said, even Sanjana said, that you want to be the change what you want. That is very, very important thing. All of us have to maintain. All of them spoke about the physical distancing, masking, proper mask, which also you said that proper masking. And I want to add up here, the proper masking means the mask, whichever mask, if it gets wet, you should change it. It's not like continuously wearing it. So maximum hours is 6 to 8 hours, and then you change your mask. So the proper masking, physical distancing, which everybody spoke about, and then about the sanitization, everybody spoke about. It was very, very overwhelming that this has to pass on to everybody, and we should do it. There is no excuse, and that's the ultimate vaccine which all of us have, and easy to maintain also. Second thing which I like, which Ms. Sanjana was talking about, saying that helping others within, if there is somebody, a COVID warrior, help their home to look after something. We knew that in the last first wave, there was a lot of COVID warriors, the frontline workers. I'm not only talking about health workers, all the frontline workers were overworked, and there was a stress coming in. They couldn't go back home. They had multiple things to do, and their home was suffering also. So the youth can be and help with their neighborhood, within their family, to help them out, to come out of those stress, and make them feel that they are also taken care at home, so that they can work freely at the workplace. So this is a very important things which has come out of all the people, and everybody spoke about. Youth should be a brand ambassador of health. very clearly. Yes, they should be the brand ambassadors of health, passing on that health is a basic necessity. COVID has made us understand that more than anything, health is a basic necessity for the humans, especially in the developing countries. So, putting on that as a positive mark that we all should believe in health, not just curing the disease, but bringing up a positive health, maybe mental and physical, also continuing as part of COVID and also beyond that. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, for giving your concluding remark. Again, very inspirational and motivational. And so today you have seen the youth, how they are reacting about the COVID. They have very, very positive ideas, but they are also handicapped when they see the Kumbh Melas, when they see Holi, when they see election rallies, when they see the gatherings. Although people blame them about the partyings, but what about we the seniors, we the elders? Are we are doing so much things, not doing irresponsibility? We have full responsibility, and the youth, if they, with the anger which have already cumulative with them, if they will start talking openly, then what is going to happen? So it is the duty of the entire civil society to think that youth, we are playing with the life of the youth. We must act very, very positively. Youth are aware about all the problems. They know what about the fake news, etc. So please take them in confidence. Youth are not only the future, rather the present of our future, the seniors' future, the civil society future, and they can change, they can control COVID more effectively than we elders. Thank you very much for giving your very, very highly energetic and positive views. And today's program, which has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, as well as it was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. And tomorrow, media conference with Lal Goyal. The topic is COVID returns, impact on examinations. Yes, because you might heard that for last 2 days, the examinations have been postponed or cancelled. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has also given the news that the CBSE exams have been, 10th class has been cancelled and the 12th exams have been postponed, and other universities and many exams, even the NEET has been postponed. So that tomorrow's topic is the COVID returns impact on examinations. Our panelists are Professor Dr. Amrish Sharma, Dean, School of Management and Commerce, Sanskrit University, Mathura. We have Mr. KB Jad, MA English, MEd, MBA Principal, PRFS, Birla Groups Schools, Mathura. We have Mr. CK Manjunath, MS, MA, PhD, Student Welfare Officer, Shri Madhva Vadiraj, Institute of Technology and Management, Udupi, and Mr. Sandeep Kulshrestha, MPhil, B.Ed, BGT, Biology, Gyandeep Shiksha Bharati, Senior Secondary School, Mathura. So please tune in tomorrow for media conference with Lal Goyal at 10:30 a.m. Thank you very much, Dr. Rashmi Kundapur, for giving such a good, inspirational, motivational, as well as expert advice to everyone, not only to you, to everyone. And thank you all our youth guests today. You are really very energetic and with a very, very positive views. I'm sure everyone, including the government and all the civil society, should hear you and change their views about the COVID and take appropriate action, what you have suggested. Thank you all the viewers for watching today's program. Thank you all.